Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my first drive video of my brand new long-termer from BMW UK. Most press cars are loaned to me for a week at a time. A long-termer is something we get our hands on for at least a month. And I've actually got this brand new 4 Series for the next 3 months. So expect lots of up and coming content. Please also comment below and let me know what you want me to cover about this particular car. This is actually the base model 420i. It retails at about £40,000 on the road here in the UK. Although this being a press car, it has had some options and packages thrown at it and retails at 49 grand. But before you start screaming at the screen and attacking me in the comments saying 40 grand for a base model 4 Series, you must be crazy. You've got to consider that the new Golf R is 40 grand, and in fact the incoming M4 competition is going to be very close to 80 grand, so twice the money. And let's face it, most people buy this sort of car on finance, and you'll be looking at about £3,000 deposit and £450 a month for a base spec 420i. We all know the styling on the new 4 Series is very controversial. People either seem to love it or hate it, and I really like it. I have done since it was launched and since I saw one in the flesh, and they've certainly grown on me more and more. There's no denying though that the paintwork on this car is absolutely lovely. Under the bonnet we find the familiar B48 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. That's paired up to the brilliant ZF 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is a standard fit gearbox across the entire 4 Series range, including the incoming M4 competition. And all that power goes to the rear wheels, so it's a rear wheel drive model, not an X-Drive version. Right, let's get inside and have a look at the full spec and then take it out for a quick drive. Now, regardless of what you think of the exterior styling on the 4 Series, the interior is just spot on as far as I'm concerned. It's lovely in here too. We've got a contrasting oyster leather. Goes really well with that blue paintwork that we just talked about. And this car is really nicely spec'd. Yes, it doesn't have the sunroof, which is probably an option that I would go for, but it is an individual option that you can spec on the new 4 Series. But everything else in here is really nice. Let's have a look at the specific spec of this car. As we talked about on the outside, it's 49 grand. A base spec 420i M Sport, as this is 40 odd grand on the road. When you add the Arctic race blue metallic paintwork, that's £670. This has the M Sport Pro package, which is 2.5 grand, and that gives you things like the 19-inch wheels, adaptive M Sport suspension, sun protection glass, some styling tweaks on the outside, the Harman Kardon sound system, which is brilliant in the 3 and 4 Series. Then we go down to the Technology Plus pack. That's £3,650, but that does include things like the Driving Assistant Professional, which is effectively the autonomous driving feature. And I've shown you that in the M440i that I had recently, and I'll hopefully show you that on this car a bit further down the track. Works really well in certain scenarios and not so well in others. It has the Parking Assistant Plus, which essentially gives you the ability for the car to park itself. It also has things like the top view camera and stuff, but it will also remember the last 50 meters, I think, of your drive. So if you've driven down a very complicated driveway into a garage, when you get back in your car in the morning or the next time you drive it, it will remember the way the car navigated down that driveway. So you just select something, put it in reverse, and it will go back up the driveway, hopefully without touching any of the walls or obstacles that are in the way. So can be a very handy feature for certain scenarios. It has BMW Drive Recorder, which is a camera system which basically records or stores the last 30 or 60 seconds of your drive if you get into a crash. So a bit like the black box in a plane. It is a bit big brotherish, but it will be something that I think is going to be standard fit on pretty much all cars very soon. So keep an eye out for that. It has enhanced Bluetooth with wireless charging bay down there. BMW gesture control, we all know what I think about that. It really frustrates and annoys me. I just don't get it, but some people like it, so I guess might satisfy them. And we have Wi-Fi hotspot in this particular car. The last package is the Comfort Plus pack, and that's just under £2,000. That gives you steering wheel heating, which is always handy in the UK during the winter months, powered boot lid, so I can open the boot and close the boot with the key. There's also a kick function, so if you're holding lots of stuff, you can swing your leg under the boot and it should open. It has comfort access, so when you walk up to the car, the key can be in your pocket, and the doors and stuff should unlock as you touch the handle. Electric front seats, and the driver's seat has memory functions, handy if you've got a couple of people that are using the car. Extended storage, so that's all part of the Comfort Plus pack. And the only other option that this car has fitted is the piano black trim, which looks fantastic but marks up very easily. In fact, this car is only a few weeks old. It only had a couple of thousand miles, which are essentially running miles when it was given to me a few days ago, and it's got scratches all over it down here. When you look closely, when you clean it, they just show up, and unfortunately that is the negatives of having piano black. Looks beautiful when it's not scratched, but just like black paintwork really, it shows up everything. So just, you know, think about that long and hard when you're speccing your car. I personally think that brushed aluminium or something is going to be far more hard wearing and will look much better 6 months, 1 year, 2 years down the track. Right, let's take this car out for a quick drive, but please remember to leave some comments and suggestions below for what you want me to cover on this car in up and coming videos, because there might be a lot of stuff that I miss, and it's not every day that I get to have a car like this for 3 months. First thing to talk about is how good this driving position is. It's pretty much spot on. Ergonomically, it's perfect. My elbows are resting nicely on the armrest and on the door card, and I really feel like I could sit here for hours and be very, very comfortable. So as a GT car, it already has a big tick for me. Then you factor in the lack of cabin noise. There's hardly any wind noise at 60 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour when you're on the motorway. And there's very little tyre roar in here too, considering we're on the optional 19-inch wheels and we're on a fairly coarse tarmac. It actually sounds very good to me, and that just all adds together to make it a very relaxing place to spend a lot of time in. This 420i only has 184 horsepower, and BMW claim it will do the 0 to 62 sprint in 7.5 seconds, which is neither fast nor slow, and most importantly to me, I think that's fast enough and what you're going to expect from a base model 4 Series. Some of you might know that the 4 Series is quite a heavy car, especially in flagship M440i X-Drive trim. In fact, that particular model weighs 1,815 kilos, which is just insane. That's so much weight. But a lot of that has to do with the X-Drive system and the B58 engine. The B58 and all of its intercoolers and stuff, it does add up, and it is quite a heavy unit. This car having the much smaller B48 and rear wheel drive only means that it weighs in at a fairly reasonable 1,600 kilos. So it's actually 215 kilos lighter than the M440i. That's 2 of me. And what all that translates to is a better handling and more nimble feeling 4 Series. The second I jumped in the driver's seat of this car, I could feel so much more going on beneath me, whether it was through my arse or through the steering wheel. I can actually get some steering feel. I'm not saying it's oozing with steering feel, but it certainly has a lot more than the M440i X-Drive. And that has to do with the fact that the front wheels in this car are just doing the steering, just like they would do in a traditional BMW or an old school BMW or something like my M2 competition. There's no drive going on up there, it's just steering. And I have to say, as a result, this feels like a better handling car. It doesn't go as fast in a straight line, nowhere near, but it handles really well. Let's put it into sport, knock it over into sports automatic, pull a paddle, so I've got manual, and it just feels great. I mean, I can feel the back end scrabbling a little bit for traction there, but again, we're talking 184 horsepower. It's not going to light these wheels up in these sort of conditions, no way. But that's kind of a nice feeling. You put your foot on the floor and it just drives out. The gearbox is really good and it responds very well to the paddles, as you'd expect with the ZF8 speed. I've had it 3 days and I've done about 250 miles and I've actually averaged 38 miles to the gallon on the combined. BMW quote this one with a 19-inch wheels to do about 42.5 on the combined, so I'm not a million miles away from that, and I'm in no doubt that on a long run, on a motorway run at 70 odd miles an hour, it would easily do 42 to 45 miles to the gallon, again making it a very good daily or usable proposition. Something else I've discovered in my short time with this car so far is it actually encourages you to drive at a normal pace. It's not constantly pulling your t-shirt telling you to go faster like my M2 does. When I get in that car, it constantly wants its neck ringed, and that's why I like to take my M2 comp abroad or on track days, because that's when it's happiest. It's not happiest cruising along a road like this at 45-50 miles an hour. It wants to go flat out everywhere and it rewards you, whereas this car, it's just a very comfortable car at doing normal speeds in. And I think the sort of customer that's looking at buying a 420i, that's probably exactly what they're after. And I've really enjoyed just cruising around in this car on my own or with my other half. Just a very comfortable, nice place to sit and be. And that kind of brings me back to where we started and we're talking about prices. Yes, this one is a smidgen under £50,000 with all of the toys, but you could get a nicely spec'd one for 45, let's say. When you factor in the dealer contributions and discounts you can get, you're probably looking at about £40,000. And to me, it's worth every penny. And I'm not just saying that, and I'm not paid by BMW to say that. I'm very grateful that I get cars off them. But honestly speaking, it's a really, really nice car to spend a lot of time in. And I think as a long-termer for me and my wallet, because I pay for the fuel, this would be a great car. It's a great proposition. So I look forward to running this alongside my slightly crazy and chaotic M2 competition. This is the perfect car to just sit in, relax, listen to the fantastic sound system, and if I want to have a bit of fun in the twisties like this, it still feels great and arguably a little bit better than the flagship M440i. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching this rather short first drive video of my long-termer. I will hopefully see you very soon at the next video. Take it easy, thanks for watching, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. I'll see you soon. Guys, if you want to see more content on this 420i, head over to the Yes Auto page. There's a link below in the description where I shoot some more content on this particular car. Thanks for watching.